Greetings, Vamp here, and bringing you another War Thunder video. And this time we are flying the Japanese Zero. You can see right up on your screen. I went ahead and overlaid this. So the A6M2 Rei-sen, max speed 533 kilometers, turn time 19.1, rate of climb 13 meters, and 1 second burst mass 2.43 kilograms a second with two 7.7 millimeters and two 20 millimeter machine guns. Well, 20 millimeter cannons and 7.7 millimeter machine guns. Okay, so I flashed the stats up there. What I'll be doing also is I will be putting up the stats when I switch out of each plane. I'll be flying the other Zero and then also some of the Kais or the Ki variants. Now this is the level 7 you saw. Unfortunately, I don't have the level 8. I just haven't bought it yet, and I was debating whether to pop on that just, you know, for these videos. I definitely want to get it. I will get it, but spending, what was it, 320,000 Lions, just I'm building up my Lions, so I want to get several different planes. The Yak 3, and definitely want to get one of the other BF 109 variants, and the American King Cobras, and you know, the P-47, later on the P-51. So, but the reason I threw the stats up there, and basically earlier in the week, this week, IJN released patch 1.29.62.0, and in that patch they did several things. First of all, they updated the flight models for the Yak 1B, the Yak 7, the Yak 3, the Yak 9T, and all modifications of the A6M, which are the Zeros. So you'll see me flying two of the Zeros, this one here, and then also the float plane version. And then I do fly the Kais. Now I don't know if they tweaked the Kais and just didn't list that. When I'm flying in these clips, as I'm flying those, they definitely seem more stable. I don't know. You let me know if you think that there is a difference. Definitely the roll rate seems a little bit better. Definitely, you know, with the Zeros, the roll rate is, I think, noticeably better. But I think the Kais might have also gotten a tweak. But if not, maybe just mentally, because the Zeros were improved, you feel like the Kais are improved also. So there I was just out of speed, no momentum, and smashed into the ground. So we're switching now to the A62M, the float plane fighter, level 4, rank 4. You can see max speed 436, turn time 23.7. It definitely seems like it turns quicker than that. Rate of climb 12, and you can see the 1 second burst mass is a very substantial 2.43 kilograms a second for a level 4, so that's good stuff. Alright, and you saw the armament there, the machine gun and cannon. Alright, so I have got a couple planes on my tail. I have a Hurricane turning with me, and I feel like I can out-turn him, but I think he has a pretty good angle on me at first, and I'm trying to overcome that. So let's see what happens here. But anyway, back to the patch. So 1.29.62.0, it also fixed bugs in the flight model of the B-25. It fixed some typos and mistakes in the text and descriptions. There were some bugs that were fixed where players were spawning on captured airfields, and the spawn point might have been saved from previous sessions. Bug fix: engine is damaged after repair, and traffic is reduced for mission start. And then the 1 second burst mass parameter is back. What happened was, in the stats, when you went into the hangar or just hovered over the planes and you brought up the stats, the 1 second burst mass was just gone. It was blank. I don't know if anyone noticed that. I saw it and I was like, what's going on? I thought it was maybe just when I started the game with my system, so I like rebooted it, or restarted the game, and it was still like that. So I assumed that something obviously had been broken when they patched it, and was hoping they were going to fix it. So I don't get on the forums as much as I probably should, or just to keep up with different news. So people were probably obviously talking about that, and the developers, from what I've seen, are really good about getting on the forums, interacting with players, with the gamers, soliciting feedback, and simply just being available. You know, a lot of games you'll see that a developer just kind of goes, you know, AFK and is just nowhere to be seen, and it's really hard to get them information or get information from them. And I've been pleasantly surprised with War Thunder in that the developers are really taking an active role, so that's been great. So looking at the patch notes, and I'll put links in the description, so if anyone wants to check these out, based on so here's the next one, the Kai, or the KI-61 1B Hein. 592 speed, 20.9 seconds turn time, 11 climb, and it has 4 12.7 millimeter HO-103 machine guns, 1.97 burst mass. So less burst mass than the Zeros, obviously, because no cannon, just machine guns, but still packs somewhat of a punch. That's one thing. My biggest complaint with the Japanese aircraft is lack of stopping power. They do not have enough punch in many situations. You really can't chase down bombers for the most part. It's, you know, obviously you're going to be dogfighting against fighters, and hopefully lighter fighters, if at all possible. Like this biplane, perfect. You don't want to really get in turn fights with biplanes, obviously, but they will outturn you, even in a Zero, for the most part. However, if you can get on one of their tails, then obviously a lightly armored target to take down, so that's always a plus. So here I'm down low. A lot of times the Zeros tend to excel and out-turn and out-maneuver other planes when they are low to the ground. So when you can get in situations where you can dogfight at lower altitudes, then do it. You know, that's recommended. What'll happen is a lot of the other planes tend to lose lift, and they will not, and they're, especially if either maybe someone doesn't have an upgraded engine or is slightly underpowered for the weight of the plane, they will have trouble breaking contact from the ground and climbing to gain altitude. And as you're maneuvering at low altitudes, because you're maneuvering, you're bleeding speed, and you just become slow. And we all know that going slow is basically, you know, you're dead. So, and that's the philosophy in War Thunder, and really in any flight game, is that altitude and speed are life. So if you think of it that way, when at all possible, you want to gain altitude and trade that for speed when needed. Whoa, that was close. Doing a scissors here with this giant BF bomber who thinks he's a Spitfire, I guess. I'm not sure. See, I broke away there. I don't want to be sitting behind a rear gunner. The Japanese Zeros are so lightly armored that you just really have to take care of them. And, well, obviously this isn't a Zero, but the Japanese fighters overall are very lightly armored. A lot of times, I think they were made out of wood for good portions of the plains. So here I'm in deep trouble. I know I'm going to be going down. I'm behind enemy lines, and I have a buffalo, and a swordfish. So I have two very maneuverable planes on my tail, and they're going. I can't get them to overshoot. They're going so slow that they can just sit parked behind my tail. So I'll be going down here in a second. But getting back to trading speed for or altitude for speed, in War Thunder, it's great to get into the habit of climbing, gaining altitude when at all possible, and coming down onto enemies from above. And if you miss, you want to zoom back up. So in practice, that's a boom and zoom tactic. Okay, so now I'm in the Kai or Ki-61 LA version, the A variant, and it's basically the same as the B, just a slight difference. I think the turn time, let's see, slightly slower. I think max speed 590, turn time 23.4. The burst mass is a little bit less, 1.34 kilograms, 12 meters a second rate of climb, and so it's got two 7.7 millimeters and then two 12.7 millimeter machine guns. So 4 machine guns, and not a ton of stopping power, but it's a lot of fun to fly. Very maneuverable, and a very good dogfighter. So that's the thing, is in my mind, I always hear, and I think I'm going to do an entire episode or video and talk about in depth, I guess flight mechanics somewhat, but I'm not an expert in terms of the simulation aspect or the aerobatics and the aerodynamics and the terminology as far as actual flight, and and that's something I do want to get more knowledgeable on. So I'm learning more as I go, but the basic principle is that, to me, I hear people say energy fighters versus turn fighters versus, or dog fighting, I guess encompasses all of that, and then boom and zoomers. So I'll quickly touch on that, and then, like I said, I might do an entire video that really kind of showcases those aspects and techniques. But to me, all fighters, all aircraft period, are energy fighters or energy bombers or energy aircraft. So let's just say energy fighters, because all aircraft are operating within their own energy envelope. In other words, yes, a Zero can turn more sharply than many other aircraft, but it's still operating within its own energy envelope. It can only go a certain speed. It can only turn so quickly as all fighters. So for someone to say, oh, that fighter's an energy fighter, well, all fighters are energy fighters. That's a fact. So it's a little bit misleading to me. I like to describe it as some aircraft and fighters are, turn fighters. I think that's an accurate description. And I think turn fighting itself is a subset of dogfighting. I think dogfighting encompasses a lot more than simply turning. There are a lot of other tactics and maneuvers that are involved. So having said that, we have energy fighting in general, using your energy, gaining altitude and then gaining speed and trading that for more altitude when needed, being able to turn a maneuver and bleed off speed if necessary. Okay, so I was just taken out there by the Aero Cobra. So here we have the Bf-109E3. So the German fighter that I guess they lent the Japanese, or the Japanese commissioned it from the Germans. A max speed 560, turn time 23.2. It seems like it turns faster. Rate of climb 18, a great, excellent climber. 1 second burst mass of 242 with 2 machine guns, 7.92, and 2 20mm MGFF cannons. 120 rounds of ammo in the cannon, so not a ton of ammo. However, with the 2 cannons, 120, so you get 60 shots. That's not terrible. It's okay. Here I try to come in for a cap. Sorry, taking a quick drink. So in any case, back to the, I guess, terminology and flight characteristics. So let's say energy fighting in general, you always want to use your energy to your advantage and to your opponent's disadvantage. Turn fighting, being able to outturn an opponent and outmaneuver him as a part of dogfighting. And then the term boom and zoom. And many of you know a lot better than I do. So this video is wrapping up, actually. So I'll have another video where I really expand on those terms and talk a little bit about my philosophy in flying. You can see this game, 6 kills, not bad. Right up at the top of our leaderboard. Other team had a guy with 12, did really great. But you can see I did have 4 assists, so a few of those could have been kills, and a lot of hits, 37 hits. So a decent game. 14,000 lines, that's not bad for an arcade game in zeros, lower level planes, and a good chunk of XP. Alright, so thanks guys, and I will see you next time.